Welcome in, Shield Brothers and Shield Maidens, to Shield's Rest. I'm Fry,
I'm Brown.
And I'm true.
and today we're hopping back into our mech hangar with part two of our pilots kitting out their first mech, finishing up with Brown here. Let's mount up.
Whether it's your first time watching or you're a return viewer, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It helps out the channel a lot. Also, feel free to check out our other videos where we cover a plethora of things, including DC-20, Daggerheart, and more. I'm excited to get my build started, so I've already got the comp pulled up here. Let's just go through it. My character's name is Ken. Go into the mech hangar. Got the Everest frame built up here. We'll just talk about that real quick, I guess.
Respect the name he had on there. That was good.
Yeah. If anyone knows anime, that's it really means first step, which is why I picked it. I thought that was cool. I'm not really gonna play this mech, but what I'm looking at for my playstyle is that very like frontline tactical melee in and out and all around. So I'm gonna probably have like some type of ranged weapon or maybe drones or something to kind of like protect me from other angles, but my initial thought is just being that full-on melee force that can get in there and distract or quickly dispatch whatever adversaries might be there, with True in the back with his railgun just charging it up. So
Just buying him time to get through those turns.
absolutely. Distract and dispatch. That's my, you know what? That's going to be my character's slogan.
There it is.
There you go, dude.
Just make
That
you
could be
guys saw
each
it
of your call
live.
signs, dude.
Absolutely.
Did you have a? I know you said it was more so like you might have a little bit of range weapon, more so getting in and out. Did you have a particular melee weapon picked out, or are you just going to kind of go with what fits damage wise as far as like hitting out your mech goes?
Yeah, so I've still got to learn all the differences, but I think there's these tactical melee weapons, right? But there's also, I think, archaic ones. So I'm trying
So
to
your
go as like
archaic
old
one's
school
going to
as
be
I can,
more.
like raw
So your
steel
archaic ones are going to be
blades.
more your pilots. So for
Okay.
the mech itself, you'll have those options. Those are your GMS ones. And I guess we didn't really talk too much about it on the last one. So the weapon options that you have here, right at level 0, those are your GMS weapons. Outside of that, you have access to every weapon in the default game. Your other weapons that come into play are going to come from the mechs themselves as you choose those license levels. So for here, when you're like at license level 0, pick the weapon that makes sense. I wouldn't worry too much about making sure you're finding the right weapon, more so that you're picking the if you're more focused on the weapon, you're picking the mech that has that weapon, or if you're more focused on the mech itself, you're just getting the weapon that comes with the mech or is opened up from the mech. But outside of that, those GMS weapons, at least in the core rulebook, are going to be what you have by default and always have access to, and those other weapons are going to come as you pick your mechs. So a lot of it, I think, will come down to flavor, right? Because I think unless it's built into it, like there are some certain frames that have their own weapons that are described what they look like and all that, but you know me, I'm always about flavor. So whatever weapon you pick, if you want it to look like XYZ, that's what it's going to look like.
Gotcha. So yeah, level 0 for me probably just looks like I'm in an Everest with 2 melee weapons, just trying to do my best. You know, I've probably got the systems and stuff to match, but I'm quickly trying to get through level 0 to get to level 1 so that I can bridge into the Smith Shimano Corpro. That's what I'm going to target, SSC. And I've got my eye on 2 of their mechs, Metalmark or Mourning Cloak. And even now, I'm still like, which one do I want to do? But
So while we're pulling it up there and just getting on screen, with the Metalmark, for those watching, it is focused around invisibility, right? So its traits are going to be whenever it is not, or while it is moving, it is invisible. So while you're kind of getting into position, you are invisible, and then when you stop to do your attacks or stop to do whatever, that's when you'll kind of pop back in. You'll finish that up, and then at the end of the turn, you're there, right? You also do have the option to just be invisible for the scene if you want to spend your core power. That the ability you get once per kind of full repair, right? you can just be invisible for the whole scene, and then you don't have to worry about all that. And then whenever you are in soft cover, you're getting that extra 2 difficulty on ranged attacks against you as opposed to the normal 1 difficulty. So you're getting protection from ranged attacks. You're able to kind of move in and out, move around invisible, right? So you're not as worried about those Overwatch attacks, right? Because we talked about in the last episode where with Overwatch attacks, whenever you move into someone's range, that's when you get the attacks. It's kind of like the reverse of an opportunity attack from D&T. It's when you move into the range or move in that range at all. So now that you're invisible, you're going to have a little protection against that. So great to get into position. So obviously it works out well for what you're kind of wanting to do, right? All about invisibility and things like that.
I am realizing now this thing's got 4 arms also, which is pretty cool. So 4 blades at once. No.
That's a lot. Then as we're talking into licensing up with this one, you're getting just more kind of survivability getting into your position, right? You're getting these flash charges. So you have flash grenades or the flash mines. You're going to see that as a theme usually as we're going through those. Whenever you're getting these charges, you get a grenade version and a mine version. To briefly summarize, grenade, obviously you get to throw it. It just shortens the area of effect. With a mine, you place it at your feet and you have a bigger effect. So with those charges, you are just giving you a little bit of protection and cover because basically you're making blind spots for people, right? Then as you get into your second license level, you're getting your melee weapons. You get 2 weapon accesses here. So you're not getting too much. It's not big and flashy like the Apocalypse Rail, right? You're not getting anything super crazy, but you're just getting a lot of means to get in, protected, do your damage, get out. I would go as far as to say, as kind of like a general statement, while melee is a thing in this game, you don't want to stay there. So you don't want to get in, do your melee attack, and then just wait for everything to come in and swarm you and beat you up. A lot of the tactics in here, I would say, is going to be hit run in the sense of like you get in and you at least want to take a couple steps back to get some kind of protection, whether that be behind cover or anything like that. You definitely don't want to just be exposed out there in the open. So this will help a lot with that, obviously, because you get a lot of invisibility options.
Gotcha. Yeah, that license level 3 I'm seeing now, active camouflage, that might
Yeah.
be a good one. But yeah, I definitely need to look at
Yeah,
Mourning
so
Cloak
you
too,
take
then, because I'm
damage.
forgetting what theirs is.
For sure.
Let's see.
Hey, I don't care what you pick at that point, as long as it lines up the shot for me. That's the whole shtick for us.
That's right.
So let's go ahead then. And that's just a brief overview. Obviously, there's some nuance to it, but then over onto the Mourning Cloak. So this one, while the Metalmark is all about invisibility, Mourning Cloak is all about teleporting. So you don't have to worry about being invisible while you're moving because with teleporting, you get to just be there instantly. I think you roll 3d6 on this one, then depending on what you roll. So the way teleporting works in this one is no matter how far you've teleported, it counts as 1 space of movement. So whether you've teleported 5 spaces or 10 spaces, it only counts as 1 for the purposes of your movement speed. So you are very mobile with the Mourning Cloak.
Is this a good or bad thing? It says if you roll the same number on all 3 dice, you disappear until your group rests. That sounds like a bad thing. Am I
Sounds
blinking
terrible.
into...
Yes, so that is the
Okay,
potential of
so I need
you
to be aware of that.
just disappearing. Yes.
That's a low chance though, right?
What is this?
3d6?
Wild magic? My
Yeah.
goodness.
A
It's
little
gotta
bit
be
of
a very
wild
low chance.
magic in your Lancer. So yeah,
It's just
a little bit of a
enticing
risk.
enough though.
Yeah. And like that's funny. That's a good story. You do it
Yeah.
for this. You do it for the
Like,
story.
there he is again, blinking in and out of space. Yeah.
As long as it's not on the first round, then I just feel bad.
Go
But then yeah, so then you have Hunter. So this gives you a little bit of bonus damage once a round if you're able to single out a target. So if you're able to kind of like pick off targets, right? If you're catching them by themselves and all that. So if you can manipulate the battlefield, or if he gets his railgun off and kills everything, and there's like onesie twosies left, you get to blink in dish out some good damage. Hopefully, just finish them up, right? And then good on agility checks. You get a +1 to accuracy. This is where we kind of go back to how we said SSC is that agility manufacturer. You're getting some bonuses to agility.
All right, I think it's definitely Mourning Cloak. I mean, I'm seeing the other one, Metalmark's cool too, but this one, Stalk Prey, I can, like you said, focus on one enemy and become invisible to it. And also this variable sword. I mean, I gotta go for that. Plus the Fade Cloak on top of it. I think that's probably the obvious choice. And it looks really sleek and ninja-y, which I'm not trying to be a ninja necessarily, but it's got that vibe. So
And then I think that's a kind of a theme I think you'll see through SSC with some exceptions. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, but a lot of these is going to be your movement. You're going to have some way of movement or cover, whether that's invisibility, teleporting, things like that, ways to get in and out of combat safely. And then outside of that, it is weaponry, like getting you options for getting up in melee and doing some damage or having some damage objects at range. But a lot of it is going to be that mobility and keeping you safe in that aspect until you're able to get back into cover. So a lot of hit and run, I think, tactics for the SSC.
I'm loving it.
But if let's go ahead then and take that level in Mourning Cloak.
Okay, sister. Take someone out. I think I'll follow True's footsteps on the first increase to skill triggers. And probably Infiltrator, huh? I feel like I'm going to be getting in and out, right? It's the initial plan. I get ambush. You can start your turn hidden. You can, okay, yep. Let's do that.
There you go.
And I don't care about hull. I really don't. Tech attacks, I don't. Do you think I'll get that a lot, or is that more like system
tech
focused things,
attacks,
not weapon?
yeah, so it's definitely a systems focused thing. Every mech has access to a limited amount of tech attack options. So things like scanning, not necessarily an attack, but you can scan a target to like get some information about it. You can invade, which is going to do a little bit of heat damage, stuff like that. You're not going to see too many tech attack boost options throughout the manufacturers, with some exception, outside of Horus. Horus is going to be the one that has a lot of tech attack options. So with this one, no, most of your stuff is going to be just straight melee or the guns and all that. So systems is going to get you more options as far as like attaching systems to your mech. So if you want more stuff on your mech as far as abilities are concerned, systems going to be great. But outside of that, you're not going to see too much for the tech attack side.
Okay. I'm thinking like how important is okay. Maybe I'm kind of feeling like based on watching True's build and the is limited systems bonus. Is this additional SP or what is this limited systems bonus?
So that is going to be, if you look at some things, I don't know if you'll necessarily have it. And this is where it's going to come down to like your what you're building and all that. But some things will say like unique two or something, or not unique two, sorry. It'll have like a limit on it. It'll say
It's only
you have
certain
2 of these per, yeah. So you can, some systems will only let you use them once or twice per full repair, but that if you bump that stat up though, it will give you more of them.
Maybe we'll see that
So
as
I
we
think
go.
like your grenades,
I'll stick agility this time, and then I'll keep an eye out for those.
okay. I believe like with the grenades that True had on his Barbarossa, I think he had a grenade option. Those will say like 2. So you basically get to use them twice per full repair, but if you bump that up, you can increase the amount you have.
Gotcha. Okay, Mourning Cloak, unlock Mourning Cloak. License level 1. Update pilot record and go back into my frame. Okay.
So with your first license level, you actually didn't get any system options, but you did get those new weapons. So you can attach those to the Everest because that's the frame you still have, but you still can use the new weapons that you got. For you, it's that fold knife, and that just lets you teleport when you crit, And as a reminder, a crit is not just a nat 20, that is getting any roll above 20 on your check. So
Yep, I'm
that's
doing
only
that.
going to really come into,
yep.
yeah. At this level, like you'll have your extra grit points, so you get that +1 to the roll, and then it's trying to get those accuracy stacks, right? So if you can get some accuracy and you roll 6 on the accuracy die, you roll a 16 on the d20, that gets you above the 20 overall, and that's how you can crit. So especially at this low level, getting accuracy bonuses is how you're going to crit the most. And then you get to teleport, time you crit, which is nice.
Okay, yeah,
You
I
also
see
get the
what you mean. So I
rockets.
got to replace both of my weapons with fold knives, and I got the rockets, and that freed up my heavy mount slot that I was using before for a non-heavy mount weapon. Probably leave that one blank for now.
Yeah. And then with the
Probably not gonna
fold
need
knight,
it.
it comes with, yeah, you do get accurate on the fold knife, which is a tagline. So I think that means you get to roll a
Yep.
d6 with that. So you always have. So you'll probably critting more than the average person at this level because you naturally have that built into the weapon.
Okay. Hey, I'm getting excited.
All right, let's
I
go ahead and
appreciate
get your
level
frame
1.
then.
Yeah, I need to go to level 2.
Yeah.
I need to get there immediately. Okay. Go through this stuff.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna look. Act unseen or unheard. I feel like I want to take that a little bit.
And just remember for your triggers, that's just your pilot skills. So again,
Oh,
that's
you're
probably
right.
going
You're right.
to really determine how the campaign is going. Is the triggers you're going to want. So that's
I'm
only
gonna
going
go
to apply to
spot
your
actually. Then
narrative.
I'm
So
gonna upgrade spot. I can stay aware all the time, kind of thing. Man, which one of these should I do? Oh, I can click it. Mastermind. Secure. Will I be using skirmish a lot? You think? It says when I do that, I get to move additional feet.
yeah, so your skirmish is your attack, your quick action attack. So we talked about a little bit, and we'll have to get into combat more, obviously. But when you either have your full action or 2 quick actions, if you attack as a quick action, it's a skirmish. But it's just the one, and that's where you have to like choose a different option. If you do 2 quick actions, they can't be the same option. Or you can barrage, which is the full action, and that's 2 attacks with the same weapon. So for you, when it comes to as you get into your systems, right, you're going to be like teleporting and stuff. Some of them might take quick action, so you probably will be skirmishing a lot because it's going to be a quick action to do a system and then a quick action to attack,
It says
which is
it
going to be your
ignores
skirmish.
engagement and doesn't provoke. So this sounds pretty good, I think.
Yep. So engaging just means whenever you're like adjacent to an enemy target, you are engaged with that target.
So I won't take their attention from that quick action hit
Yep.
right away.
So
I like that
when
for
it
now.
says ignoring the engagement, I'm assuming it means so whenever you engage a target, that usually ends your movement. So if you try to like kind of skirt by next to somebody,
I see.
I think it's if they are your size or larger, you have to stop because now you're engaged with them. So with that, you get to ignore that and you get to just keep going past them. So if you're trying to like
Okay.
go find that target that's like in the back line by themselves, you get to kind of like have a little more options as far as going straight to them.
I don't like that disengage action for sure. I like that.
Like a built-in disengage, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like. I can take a 4th thing here, right? I could do hunter.
Mhm.
When I
Yeah.
attack with an auxiliary weapon, which I would be doing, I can fly 3 spaces towards them. I feel like I'm getting around the field, right? That's more. It's more sexy, yeah.
Oh, you're getting
Indeed.
around all right.
You
Let
can
me double back
fly
on that.
in.
Hang on. Let me grab hunter one time.
Do it.
Just to have it for later, just in case. All right, let's move on.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
taking hunter. And here, I guess again, this
So
might be
let's
a different decision based on the actual play, but
yeah. So just to pause right here, let's go ahead and throw it into systems just because of what's about to come up.
this one?
Yes.
Okay,
We'll do systems on this stat.
sounds good.
And
There we go.
you'll see why here in a second.
Yeah, we're
Because
going Mourning
at
Cloak.
Yeah, so all that hubbub I said about, you're not going to have quick tech attack options. I didn't realize the Mourning Cloak had one at license level 2. So you do actually have a quick tech option, which we'll talk about here a little bit once you swap over to the frame.
Okay, let's see this. Damn, what's the Japanese word for hidden? Minai. That means you can't see it. We'll just go with that for now. I can't see it. Sure, there's a better word for it. All right, cool.
All right, and then again, this is where if you want to, you can throw your new weapons back on there. And then for your systems at level 2, you did get 2 new systems. First is a quick tech option, like I was talking about. With these, most of the ones that I've seen so far, obviously there might be some different ones, but it's all going to usually boost your invade. So invade is the quick tech attack. That's like your system attack. And invading, it will change the options that you have for the invade. So the typical invade is just kind of giving them some heat damage. So you're trying to get them to overheat, and then this one is going to give you more options for that instead of doing that heat check.
Okay, which one was that again?
That's the Hunter Logic
The
suite.
suit. Okay. Yeah, that thing is nice.
Yeah, so that's what you're talking about. Yeah, where they treat you as invisible. So
Yep.
this is where you'll probably be like, if you want to utilize this, that's where you can bump your systems more, and that's also where you're going to be skirmishing more. So like I said, you have 2 quick actions if you decide to do the quick action options. So you can go in, do your invade, right? So now they think you're invisible. Now you can do your movement, run up to them, and do your second quick action, which is going to be your skirmish. And that's where you do your melee attack.
They
Or
don't
your
even
ranged
know I'm
attack.
there,
It's just
do
an
they?
attack. Yeah.
They'll see me, then they won't, and then they'll see me again. Yeah, I'm getting like 2 and 3 hits
And
off on them. I like that. Okay. All
and
right.
and then
This
you
is
hit them,
exactly
and
what I
if you
was
crit, you
wanting.
get to teleport away from them.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was wanting. And I got improved accuracy from my fold knives, so I can like
Yeah.
hopefully pretty much always hit.
Yeah. Let me look up one thing real quick.
And I got that
before I say
hunter.
And if
this.
you
I can deal an additional
and if you want to
1d6
name him
bonus damage.
Kakure,
Yeah,
if you wanted to go
I
with
don't know how
hidden,
to.
name him Kakure.
Oh, I can change the name right here. Is this it?
I think so.
Oh, there
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. It's kind of hidden. Okay, I didn't see that before.
There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's
Hey, this is broken. This is already broken. I can teleport. I can
and
free
then
teleport. I can free hit. I can get additional damage. I'm a level 1 too. That's crazy.
and then just to I know we talked about it a lot, but what invisibility does, kind of 2 main things. One, it lets you hide whenever you want. So normally you have to get behind cover to take the hide action. If you're invisible, you can just hide. You also, whenever anyone attacks you while you are invisible, they have a 50% chance to just miss. So before they even roll, you flip a coin, call it. If you get it right, they miss. Doesn't even matter. So invisibility, super cool in this one.
Hey,
It's like
I
you
can
actually
see. I
feel
can
invisible.
picture this now. He's charging his laser. I'm blipping around. I hit one. They fall their knee, and he just blasts them. This is great. Can't wait.
All right, but let's go ahead and if you wanted to go over your systems, I like you just like talking about your tactics. So if you're seeing systems that you want to be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do with that, feel free. But if not, let's go ahead. Again, you can finish out with your level 3. I think that's what you want to do because you really liked your level 3 ability. And you're also
Oh
going to
yeah.
get your core bonus. Or you could switch on over. Heck, you can even now double back and go for the metal mark and start picking up all the metal marks. Weird, like invisible. You won't get the mech frame ability itself, but you can pick up its systems and stuff that's doing to like help it be invisible and stuff too.
I feel like
Now,
with
I have
my
a
like.
question,
Oh,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Sorry to interrupt the build here, but I was kind of curious. Is there a way for Mark to be able to disable the mech in some way, shape, or form, immobilize it basically? Does he have any options to immobilize to keep them stationary so they're not going anywhere?
Let me look that up real quick. I can't
Because
remember
I'm
the systems for
imagining,
Everest.
start
if
weaving
you
in
will,
systems.
I'm imagining this kind of idea of him running around and just immobilizing people. left and right, taking them out at the ankles, taking them out at the knees kind of situation. And then I'm there to just blast him. As he lines them up, I'll knock him down.
So by default, no. You
Okay.
can, one of the invade options that every mech gets is it's called the fragment signal. So you can impair and slow them. That's not going to stop them from moving entirely, but you can actually at least try and like keep them in a set space. And again, you can do that. You can do that as a quick action. So if you don't want to do the invisible side and you're just trying to slow them and keep them there, you can impair them, do the slow. If that's successful, and that happens, and you can still run in and skirmish and get that quick attack in.
Sweet. I just wanted to know the options because that sounds kind of cool too. Like when I was thinking about it, I'm like, ooh, if we're talking about lining them up right now, that'd be a cool way if that was an option. But I mean, either way you slice it, it's still going to be a cool freaking mech.
Yeah, and as you go up to, so this is just at this level, right? Like as you get up, off the top of my head, I don't know if there's a specific one, but if there's ever like a I'm trying to mess with their system, look at Horus. They are going to
I was
have
about to
every frame.
say
I think
you're
has
yeah. I'm definitely seeing
every
long
Horus
term. I'm
frame.
going goblin. I'm getting some of that invade stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be this little melee
Yes.
blink blipping goblin. Perfect.
Yeah. So if you're ever trying to, and this I almost be like a general rule of thumb, if you're ever trying to be like, man, I want to attack their system in some way on my turn, look at the Horus frames. There's probably something there for you to bolster that invade quick attack or quick action. Sorry. Mhm.
Yes, I've got that.
Oh yeah.
I've got that in my mind now. I'll work towards that. I think with this current level that we're on, before moving on too quick, I would pick up other generic system things from GMS. So I'd probably get this one for like more HP, uh, hold the whole damage one, roll the d6 thing. So
Mhm.
I would kind of kit that out for more durability and survivability because it looks like the Mourning Cloak's already pretty stacked with agile combat. So
Mhm. And then additionally, we haven't talked about this too much yet, but like I keep saying, you have like you can do one each, right? So you have to invade or skirmish, right? Because you have to do a different option every time. You do have the ability to once per turn overcharge. So what this will do is it's a stacking kind of stacking debuff, I would say. You take heat damage, and that heat damage is going to go up every time you use it as you go on through the rounds. But you can overcharge and take an additional quick action. So you can take 3 quick actions, and that new quick action is you can do it with whatever. So you can invade, skirmish, overcharge, and skirmish again.
mm-hmm. Push myself to the
So all you have
limits.
to monitor at that point is your heat, right? Because you're gonna start. I think the first one is like 1 heat, and the next one is like a 1d3, and then a 1d6, and then like it costs more heat every time you do that. But if you're trying to like on the first round nuke something out, go in, overcharge, get your 2 skirmishes in, and try and like nuke something in the beginning. You can potentially take out a target right there, and then not have to worry about overcharging later.
Oh yeah. Well, I think
Love the sound of that.
the license level 3 for Mourning Cloak is just way too, like there's no. I told
Yeah,
myself I'll try to do something different, but there's no way I'm switching at this point. I got to go all in on that. So let me just get to it
no.
here.
And it's double, right? Like not only are you getting this great like cap ability, was it capstone ability, right? But you're also getting
Mm.
your core bonus. So level 3, if you're sticking all the way through on a mech, like I think is a big. I would equate it to like if you're coming from D&D, right? That's your level 5 power jump, right? Like you're getting a capstone ability, you're getting a core bonus. Everything's kind of coming up, lining up together. Your build's kind of coming online, right? This is the first, I think, big, not super significant, right? Because we're not doing that vertical increase like I'm talking about, but this is a good like I think your squad's really starting to be able to handle more because you have the answers for a lot of problems now.
I see. Yeah, definitely loving this. I think my pilot is probably gonna. I'm gonna take a show off. I feel like he's gonna mirror his mech in that way, where he's gonna be this kind of, you know, basically the pilot and the mech are like the same personality in a sense. Is what I'm going for.
Yeah, Yeah, and I feel like at this point, there's got to be an ego that comes with teleporting around the battlefield, right? Like,
Yeah, and I feel like I need to go hunter again because I just looked at this and it gives me thrown on all my auxiliary melee weapons. If I think they already have it, but if they don't, hey, because this is helping me hit nearby targets without splitting my movement, kind of like what you were talking before. I feel like this is a way for me to still get to someone, or if they're like, I'm trying to get their attention or for whatnot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna click knife juggler
yeah,
for
and it
now.
could
Let's
be
go with that.
you might want to be invisible to one target but attack another, right? So that'll let
Yeah,
you kind of like invade, make these like a sniper, right? You want to invade
yeah.
them. Now you're invisible and they can't see you, and then you can run over and throw your dagger at someone else that's all the way over here.
This systems does give SP. It looks like after the couple levels up, now I get +1 SP. So yeah, I think I do want to keep building into systems for now.
And then
And I'm
that's what I was saying. Like
definitely
when we
picking.
jump back to like, yeah, the SSC is like the agility manufacturer, but like as you can see here, bumping up your systems is a completely valid like play style boost.
I don't remember this popping up for true, but the core bonus thing is here now. Which I mean, I don't know. I'd probably just take Smith Shimano core. It's the only one I can take.
Yes,
There's a couple
so
of good ones.
so
Like
you
if you
have
go for like,
to. It's
sorry, man.
you're good. It's that time difference, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so you have to have 3 license level in that manufacturer to get their core bonus. So just because you got to license level 3 doesn't mean you get a core bonus if you split your license level between manufacturers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I think on Trues we didn't actually hit the button on license level 3 because we just talked
Yeah.
it. So that's why it didn't pop up.
Well, with their list, I wanted to look at it more, but I mean, all theater movement suite or full subjectivity sync looks like the way to go. If I'm being honest, +2 evasion or your movements considered flying. What does that even mean for mechanics wise in Lancer?
So let me pull it up real quick because there's a little bit of nuance to flying for
All these are
sure.
good.
Oh, there's a lot of good ones, but like as far as your build's concerned, like there's a couple that definitely stand out.
This one lets me stay invisible. This one gives me,
Oh, Ghost Weave, yeah.
but I do like the evade. Like this is where like if we had actually been playing, and then I would pick. I think my how it's been going would influence this pick because like +2 evasion sounds really nice, like just in general. But if it's relatively not a problem of me getting hit and stuff, then I probably would pick either the movement option or the stay invisible type. So I think, yeah, to your point from the other earlier videos, what's been going on so far in the play is kind of going to drive that.
So for flight, if you have flight as an option, you can move up to your speed in basically vertically or horizontally. It just has to be in a straight line. So you can't like go up to over 3, right? You can go that way. It just has to be in a straight line for that movement. So if you, as a quick action boost, which is kind of like dashing, then you can go in a different movement, but that boost also has to be in a straight line. So if you wanted to like try and go around something, you can movement speed here and then quick action boost that way. And so that lets you kind of move around. But you can use your movement speed. It matches whatever the speed of your mech is. You just have to make sure if you have full on flight, great. But if one of them is saying, like, for instance, when you boost, you have flight, you have to be on the ground when your boost ends or you fall. That's the only thing you have to kind of watch for with things that give you flight is do you maintain the flight?
I mean, I just picture an anime character right now just bouncing around and zipping up and down, going back and forth, and just cutting people left and right, going in between them all. That's what I'm imagining now
Absolutely.
with this possible
Yeah,
flight situation.
it looks like I'm flying until I blink space behind you and stab you, but really I'm using the free move that lets me be invisible to you, and then I'm in the front of you. Yeah, totally. I won't actually pick one here
They're
just
just
because like I haven't been playing enough to know, but this is
yeah,
definitely cool that we got to see it on here. So
bro, they're gonna be
Hell
like, how many am I fighting?
yeah.
it's just me.
Um Also, just to piggyback off of flight, if you take the ace talent, you actually get flight just right there at level 1. So if you wanted to be the flying mech at level 1, you can take the ace talent, and that gives you, I don't know if it's full on flight in the beginning, but you eventually through all those talents will just have like full on flight. So you can just be that from level 1.
So
Yeah, and then I upgrade these fold knives to variable swords. Looks like there's no real... Oh, I can't blink space with it, but... I'd have to figure out if I wanted to use 1-in-1 or both of the same, because it would depend on like how often the fold knife happens, but that's pretty cool. So this might be a variable pick as well.
Yeah. But I know we thought straightforward in the beginning, but how do you feel about it now? I feel like you have a lot of good options now.
I think I need to level up as quick as possible so that I can get to the real like ultimate build with the goblin shit thrown in there. I definitely could have fun playing each level, but I think with my initial look at this is like I'm ready to get to the maximum possible. Like, what is my prime mech playstyle build? I just would really love to see what that's like and feel that once, but I haven't even done one combat, so it's exciting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm definitely fully interested in this. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I think
it
that's what I
felt
like too.
generic at first, but then it just unlocked itself as you built it little bit by little bit, and all of a sudden that picture started to get colored in. That wasn't really much of anything. Like, it was framed out, and we kind of had an idea, but it went from generic to being like, "Holy crap, I can do what now?" So yeah, I like that build. That was a good pick.
Yeah, I think that's what I've liked the most about like reading through all the mechs and all that is like you said, as I'm like reading these abilities and starting to see how things play, and I'll attest it to, you know, the uniqueness of the abilities, like the great artwork they have in it. Like I could picture this, right? I see the vision, and everything looks so cool. Just the options, the way you fight, and all that stuff is super fun with this. Definitely my out of a lot of the games that we've reviewed and like just I have personally viewed, the combat options in this I think has been my favorite of any game so far. But I mean, it is giant robots fighting, so I mean that's always going to be cool. But
I can only imagine if the combat's even cooler than actually building the mechas. Like, this has been so fun. We haven't even played or done a combat, which can't be bad, right? Like, it's gonna be super fun. Like, I can't even imagine like how fun running through a combat will be, even if it's a 4 hour long one combat scene. It's got to be fun, right?
definitely, especially depending on too what we end up using. I know we have a couple options as far as the virtual tabletop, so but all of them have seemed
True.
really cool. So all right, well that is our two pilot mechs down. These are great. I really love what we created here. Had a really good time. Hopefully those watching a little more comfortable, a little more familiar now with what it looks like leveling up and all that. Of course, a lot of things are going to be dependent on your campaign and what's going on in your game, but hopefully a little more comfortable now with your decisions. And like I said back in the last video, if you do all this and you're like, man, this didn't turn out the way I wanted it, well, at that next level up, you can go back to square one and do what we did here, right? Just kind of theory craft. I didn't like this. I like this play style. What can I do now with the 4 or 5 levels that I have, and go for all new mechs? But hopefully, this was a great informative video for you. Next up, we're going to be diving into the manufacturers themselves, going into not only the mechs individually, but to the lore side of things as well, and where they play a role in not only the game and what the game master can use with this, but also for the players and how you can use them forming your own backstories. To that, we are going to be starting with the Smith Shimano core, and stick around for a little sneak peek of what we have in store for that. But until next time, keep that shield wall strong.
人間と機械の境界が曖昧となっている世界。完璧さを追求する上で、一つの名前が何よりも際立っています。スミス・シマノ社。 1世紀以上にわたるイノベーションにより、当社は最先端のメカ設計とバイオ強化を通じて人間の可能性を再定義し、技術進化のフロンティアを開拓しています。当社と共に未来は今です。当社のメカを利用し、会議室から戦場まで比類なきパフォーマンスと信頼性を提供するために、当社を頼りにするエリートパイロットの仲間入りをして、さらに先へ進んでみませんか？スミス島の社、必要なのはたった一つ。